This is the World Organic News weekly podcast for the week ending 14th of March 2016. John Moore reporting. In this part of the Southern Hemisphere, we're officially in autumn. Not that you'd know from the weather. Over 30 degrees C for the past 9 days, and not much below 20 overnight, with humidity thick enough to slice. Most garden work here has been keeping water up to the plants to keep them alive. From the World Organic News blog, things are, if not warming up exactly, people are preparing for the warmer weather. This means seed selection, seed setting, cuttings, garden planning and garden building. The blog Beltane Cottage has a great piece on easy seeds and cuttings. There is nothing like success to inspire further work. By using easy-to-start seeds, gardeners can see good germination rates, and this is a thrill. I can remember the first time I tried to strike cuttings. The thrill of seeing new shoots was as exciting for me as lambing. The new life thing, I'm guessing. The link to the Beltane Cottage article is in the show notes. Once your seedlings are ready to go into the field, so to speak, garden design may be a question on your mind. Dirt and Kids blog has a series on keyhole gardens. These are what they sound like: a circular raised bed garden with the quadrant removed. The gardener can walk into the centre of the circle through the keyhole and access all of the bed. The current update on the blog shows lettuce growing amazingly well. Links in the show notes. And now for the big announcement I promised last week. We are proud to accept Gem Biscuits as our first sponsor. Gem Biscuits makes gluten-free sorghum flour-based biscuits, also known in the North American continent as cookies, choc chip, hazelnut choc chip, coffee hazelnut choc chip, and the original spiced sorghum biscuits. All these are handmade with, of course, organic ingredients. These biscuits are the bomb. Please go and check out the website, gembiscuits.com. That's jembiscuits.com. A link, of course, is in the show notes. Now for our continuing journey through John Seymour's complete book of self-sufficiency. We are in the Food from Animals section. Last week we looked at ruminants and dairy ruminants in particular, cows, goats and sheep. This week we are looking at pigs, rabbits, poultry and bees. Let's start with pigs. Seymour places these with the cows as essential building blocks for a successful self-sufficiency. He dedicates a large number of pages to these beasts, and their uses are many. From ploughing up grassland to cleaning up potato paddocks to eating windfall fruit in the orchard, the pig will feed itself whilst performing work humans would otherwise have to do. Not surprisingly, Seymour recommends older breeds, the Saddleback and the Gloucester Allspot among them. He saw back in the 1970s the horrors of factory farming and didn't think the breeds used in factories were much chop for real farm work. He advocates, in air quotes, natural breeding and farrowing practices, letting the sow do her thing in as natural a setting as possible. Straw bale huts being ideal for this. They can be burned or used for compost afterwards. Seymour spends much time on the slaughtering, butchery and preserving of pork products. All useful information. Again, it is best to learn hands-on from someone who's done it all before. But sometimes Seymour is all that's available, and it's pretty good. I'll move now to Seymour's rabbit material, because as he stated in the rabbit section, the rabbit is often referred to as the poor man's pig. Like the pig, the rabbit takes food we would never be able to digest and converts it primarily into meat. With rabbits you also get pelts, and if you keep Angoras, fibre of the highest quality. Seymour covers housing, feeding and general care of the animal. Now we move on to poultry. Poultry is the gateway animal. Once you've kept chickens, then ducks and geese, it is only a matter of time before you move on to mammals. In my case, sheep and goats were my next steps into animal husbandry. Chickens are wonderful animals. Children can learn the arts of responsibility, time-delayed returns and eat the eggs. As with pigs, Seymour plumps for the older breeds. Not quite as productive in eggs as the modern hybrids, but they produce in other ways. They are more likely to go broody and therefore replace themselves. They are better suited to an outdoor life, following the larger animals and cleaning up the droppings, spreading them across the paddocks for you and feeding themselves in the process. As with all the animals except bees, Seymour gives excellent drawings and words on turning your live chicken into edible meat. I love chickens, or as we call them here in Australia and New Zealand, chooks. Sitting in the chook house for 10 minutes, watching them go about their business, is one of the best stress reduction things you can ever do. I recommend it for everyone. The final animal in Seymour's Food from Animal section is the honeybee. Yet honey is but one product from these little creatures. Honey, though, would be worth the effort on its own. Pollination services often go unnoticed, but the bees are out there ensuring we have fruit, vegetables and flowers. We should never forget this. Seymour discusses the standard commercial Langstroth hive, and it is a good starting point. Joining a beekeeping club would probably be of benefit too. So this brings us to the end of our brief overview of the Food from Animals section of the complete book of self-sufficiency. Next week we begin our walk through the Food from the Garden section. It's a great read, and I hope to pass on the feeling of excitement I still get when I look at the pages. Until next week, don't forget to check out www.jembiscuits.com. Thank you. Any questions, feedback or criticisms are most welcome. Email me at john@worldorganicnews.com. That's John, Jon, no H. A transcript of each episode is available on the blog at worldorganicnews.com under the tab Podcasts. Sounds used in this podcast are courtesy of Texas Radio Theatre Company on the Freesound site. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back again in a week.